Happier. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing? Especially whoever suggested I look into this incident, the Tasmanian or the Tasman Bridge disaster. At some point I referenced the Baltimore ship. There was a ship that crashed in Baltimore into the bridge, and the bridge collapsed, and yeah, it's a big deal over here in the States. Apparently the crew is still on board, which I just thought it was interesting. They're not like trapped on board, it's just that they don't have the right visa to get off. So the crew is still on board this ship, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, someone commented and was like, hey, something similar happened over here in Oz. And so that definitely seems interesting. And there's this video by Quickseer. Go check out his channel, link down below. Congrats to him, just getting over 1 million subs. That's pretty cool. This video has over 1 million views. Motorists drive off collapsed bridge. That's horrifying. That is literally a nightmare. So I'm interested to look into this incident, see what happened. I guess it was in Tasmania. 1975. All right, let's see.
It's a moment we've all seen 1,000 times before. A car teetering precariously.
What was that dog doing there, though?
We've all seen 1,000 times before. A car teetering precariously on the edge of certain doom. But despite how many times you may have seen it, can you think of a single example that wasn't staged for the screen? A real car perched on a real precipice with real occupants genuinely fearing for their lives? Here's one. This is from the Tasman Bridge collapse.
No shit. That's real? Oh my god. Talk about a nightmare.
A large ship ploughed through the bridge's supports, sending a huge section of road plummeting 45 meters below. Our story takes us to Australia, 1975. More specifically, Hobart, the capital city of Australia's island state, Tasmania. It was around 9:30 at night on a Sunday, January 5th, when the bulk carrier Lake Illawarra was carrying 10,000 tons of zinc ore concentrate up the Derwent River. The Derwent River divides the city of Hobart into two, east and west. The two halves of the city are connected by the Tasman Bridge, which is over 1 kilometre in length and suspended some 45 metres above the Derwent River.
That is a bridge.
The Lake Illawarra would have to pass under the Tasman Bridge then. It made its approach near the eastern
That seems kind of sketchy.
shore. The ship slowed down to allow for safer passage, but
I mean, I get that happens all day long, I'm sure, but damn, don't miss the gap.
Slowed down to allow for safer passage, but it was struggling to align itself with the span it intended to pass through. At this lower speed, the captain struggled as he wrestled the ship against the strong current. All the while, the ship drifted towards the bridge. Eventually, the captain realized he would not right the ship before it reached the span and called out, "Full speed astern," attempting to pull the ship back out of its current predicament. But it was too late. Lake Illawarra crashed through 2 pile cappings, bringing down the piers, and with them 3 now unsupported spans of the bridge. Around 130 metres of roadway came crashing down, some straight into the water's depths, some onto the ship's deck. Fortunately, the Sunday night traffic was light, and there were no cars on the section of bridge that collapsed. However, there were still motorists
that's a freaking miracle.
travelling across the bridge, which was now split by a huge divide, unbeknownst to them. Murray Ling was travelling with his wife and 2 kids when suddenly the lights on the bridge flickered off, alerting them that something may be wrong.
That is a freaking disaster. The lights are off, it's nighttime.
Murray slowed the car as he and his wife watched ahead for a potential
barely see.
accident, though they were straining to see through the foggy night on the unlit roadway.
Foggy!
There were 2 cars ahead, allowing them to follow their lights, but suddenly these 2 cars disappeared. They had driven straight over the edge. Murray slammed on his brakes, bringing the car to a halt.
Smart person, honestly. I mean, because the last thing you expect is that the bridge is gone. But seeing those people, the lights disappear, having the wherewithal to slam on her brakes.
Just before the plunge. However, the
Oh.
reaction time of the car behind them was not as quick, and it slammed into the back of Murray's.
How mad would you be? Oh my God. I'd be pissed. Are you serious? This dude managed to slam on his brakes, and you couldn't even do it behind me? You saw the brake lights come on.
Car.
And now you're going to hit me into the water.
The car was propelled forward, but thankfully stopped with both its front wheels hanging over the side. Murray helps his family out of the car, then notices two cars coming up in the adjacent lane. He tries to wave them down, but the cars drive past. One even has to swerve to avoid Murray. Both cars fly off the edge. In total, 5 people across 4 cars have been killed. Murray Ling does manage to wave down a bus
That is so disturbing.
full of people, which swerves and crashes into the side railings. The occupants, unaware that the accident they have suffered at the hands of the madman on the road had saved their lives. But their
Yeah, can you imagine? They go from being pissed to like forming a riot. They get out of the bus and see, oh. Thanks.
there was another motorist on the way. Frank and Sylvia Manley were travelling in Frank's Holden Monero, apprehensive at the lack of lights on the bridge. Frank slowed to 40 kilometers per hour, and the two kept their eyes peeled for something wrong. There were stationary taillights ahead. Suddenly, Sylvia noticed the white line down the middle of the road appeared to abruptly end. Realizing the bridge wasn't there, she called out to Frank to stop. He slammed on the brakes.
Dude.
The Monero screeched towards the edge. It looked like they were going to slide into the drop as the front wheels passed over the brink, but thankfully, the car came to a stop.
Another one? I mean, I get they showed the photo at the beginning, so I already knew there were 2. But I just can't believe that. Look at that. I mean, what are the chances? That thing is teetering on the edge. How did you manage to just barely teeter on the edge and not fall off? That's miraculous. I would be terrified to get out of the car. First of all, getting out might, I'd be worried that would shift the weight and it would send the car and the other passenger into the water. But second of all, it's like dark. It's like, don't miss your step. I mean, on the flip side, I'd be jumping out of that car. But that would also be scary. Damn.
Balanced on the large automatic transmission pan. As the two got out, Frank peered over the edge. Below, he saw what he described as a massive black hole.
Whoa. I would think I was dreaming.
What he was seeing was a whirlpool. The Lake Illawarra had sunk. 7 crew members were trapped on board.
That whole boat had sunk.
And drowned as the ship went down. With the 2 cars teetering on the edge, the tragedy was over, but the story wasn't. Emergency services, as well as private citizens and businesses with boats at their disposal, descended on the scene.
That's pretty cool that private citizens descended on the scene to help. This story is nuts.
Saving the lives of many Lake Illawarra crew members. A court of marine inquiry later found the captain of the vessel guilty of careless navigation.
That's interesting. I mean, from the description in this video, it sounded like the current was just really strong.
And
I wonder how many years he spent in jail.
Suspended his certificate of competency for 6 months.
Oh.
In the wake of the incident, Hobart found itself lacking a
Man, that dude must feel horrible, I assume.
bridge, which saw heavy use.
I mean, maybe it was his fault. I don't know. That would be an interesting case to look at.
As it connected the 2 sides of the city. This image shows the importance of the bridge in relation to the area.
Yeah, that's a freaking disaster to have that bridge go out, huh? That must have really impacted all sorts of trade and stuff, and people's jobs, getting between the cities.
Residents were forced to travel kilometers away to make use of a bridge out in the suburbs. For some, what was
Oh, I guess it's not that far. Kilometers? That's not very far.
once a 3-minute trip across the Tasman Bridge had turned into an hour-and-a-half long journey. This was incredibly frustrating for residents, made worse by the slow progress in repairing the bridge. Before construction work could even begin,
I mean, yeah, this type of thing, to clean all that up, how do you even clean all that up? Imagine being tasked with that. Hey, go clean out the river. You know, that bridge that collapsed? You got to clean it out. Like, holy shit. That's a big job. It's like they've barely even started in Baltimore. Feels like progress is... It seems like they're all just standing around going like, what do we do? And I don't blame them. That's what I'd be doing too. That's tough.
a lengthy process of surveying and clearing the map.
But actually, hold on. I did see this video right here showing them. That was pretty cool, huh? So they're starting to demolish it, but that was just recently. Like, what, yesterday. So yeah, very slow progress.
Massive debris underwater had to be carried out. It would be nearly 3 years before the bridge was reopened.
Wow.
This had a significant impact on...
Actually, that's kind of quick. I mean, that's a long time. But I would have thought it would take like... Yeah, I guess 3 years, 3, 4, 5 years. And with how much stuff like this gets delayed, and depending on the budget and the finances of the city, could have never reopened.
On the city, especially the eastern shore, which was home to about 30% of Hobart's residents. Most of the businesses and facilities were located in the west side.
Oh, wow.
This eventually resulted in developments in the east's services and amenities as they became a more self-contained community. Many ferry services were set up to take travellers across the Derwent River while the Tasman Bridge was inaccessible. A year after the incident, a temporary Bailey Bridge was installed that allowed one lane of traffic in each direction to once again cross the river. In October 1977, the Tasman Bridge was reopened. The repair had cost $44 million. $44
million, that's it? Are you serious? Nowadays, that kind of repair would cost like $400 million.
And featured some new additions, including a new lane and improved safety measures such as a guidance system for passing ships. In 1984, an extra bridge crossing was completed a few kilometres north of the Tasman Bridge. And so, Hobart had not only minimised the chances of such a tragedy occurring again...
It doesn't look easy to get your ship between one of these things. It just looks... It looks difficult, I'm not gonna lie.
But also mitigated...
I have a little bit of sympathy for that captain.
...the resulting hardship of losing such an important bridge. Of course, that doesn't bring back the 12 who lost their lives that...
That's an unbelievable photo. And the headlights shining straight. You can even see the headlights going straight down. You can see the angle that the cars are at. Ooh.
Night. There is a plaque.
That is a story. If you're one of those people, shout out to you. That's a hell of a story.
Commemorating the tragedy on the bridge, but perhaps a more striking reminder is the gap where one of the two destroyed supports once stood. This single pier was not replaced, as there was too much debris at the site. Its absence
okay, hopefully they did the math. You know what I mean? Hopefully they don't need that piece.
Now serves as a permanent marker for the place where 12 people spent their last moments.
Wow. Rest in peace to those people. My gosh. That was the spookiest story I ever reacted to. That was a really cool video. Go check out his channel, link down below. Quixer. Damn. The Tasman Bridge disaster. Almost 50 years ago. Okay. That was really fascinating. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.